record. Got it. Okie dokie. So let's get this kick started. We have the two T's here talking to you. So welcome obviously to our latest training, the 3 secrets to eating the foods you love without guilt. Super important. I was just telling Tracy there, I've had heaps of messages about this one during the week. And it seems to be quite a cycle people are stuck in the sense of we tend to do one thing that we consider bad, and we get this whole shame feeling, and then we chuck the whole diet out the window and go, fuck it, I've ruined it now, I'm just going to keep going, right? Which isn't ideal, people. It isn't ideal. So this is what this is all about. So let's start off with who I am, because there are heaps of new faces in the Facebook group. So to start off with who I am Tanika. I'm one of the nutritionists at Body by G. I didn't start out in nutrition. To be honest, I was financial advising for many, many years. I had a super bad relationship with food and alcohol in that sense. I would, be out kind of Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Thursday, Monday, whatever, all the days of the week usually, drinking pints, Coors Light. Then obviously what follows that is some serious, terrible eating. Jambons for breakfast, sausage sandwiches, pub lunches, McDonald's, Burger King, you name it. I was grossly overweight. I did not exercise. I did not do fitness. And through my journey, like literally, I've tried every fad diet, every weight loss pill, every shake, every tea, every meal replacement, looking for a quick fix. Hundreds, and I mean hundreds of weight loss attempts. Slowly figured it out. It's about a calorie deficit. It's about flexible tracking, changing your lifestyle, because that is the big one. If you don't change your habits one at a time to build a solid foundation, then, how are you ever going to change what you're doing? Okay. So over time, I learned that I did have to live a different way. And obviously that sparked my interest in nutrition and helping others on their journey. So I went back to study, graduated MNU with distinction, and obviously Body by G was born 7 years ago, and here we are now, right? So that is how we became. Tracy, can I just ask you, can you actually see me, or can you just see the slides? Oh, I think I've lost her as well. Not to worry. Okay, so moving along, the Body by G method.
Sorry, Tan, I can just see your picture. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah, no, I was meant to be the actual slides of
No, I can't see that.
Oh, let's have a look here.
No, all I can see is your picture.
Okay, well, that's not right. One sec there. Yeah. What can you see now? Yeah, because I was just looking there. I was like, that isn't looking right.
No, it's still just a picture of you in it.
Okay. I share screen. Try that again. Okie dokie.
Oh yes, that's it now.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I was
got it.
thinking that. Sweet. Okay, so let's play that again. Now, can you see me? So I was just talking about this. This is me. You just heard all about me. So all good there. So yeah, Body by G was born from kind of me and my husband going through our own journeys. Okay, so we're living the same routine and the same kind of life that you guys are. No different. Like, we weren't born this way. Well, we were born this way, but we not naturally like that. It takes a lot. So obviously my weight loss journey and my nutrition has led me to the methodology that we use within Body by G. So within Body by G, we literally have 4 phases. And the first phase, and Tracy, you know all about this, is creating foundation. When I have somebody signing up, we have to learn to get the basics right? No skipping corners. Okay, we've got to create very basic principles, and some of them are common ones. Hey, are you eating enough calories? Are you eating nutrient dense food? Are you eating enough protein? Are you drinking enough water? Are you sleeping? How's your stress coping mechanisms? These are literally the basics that we have to get right in order for us to even allow ourselves to go into a dieting phase. Because what happens with other programs is when you start, they skip this step. They literally just put you straight into a fat loss phase or straight into a performance phase, but you don't really have a good foundation to build off. And guess what happens? Things are going to crumble, right? Or you're going to have like a very low ceiling of potential because you aren't working on changing the habits that are holding you back, right? So when our clients sign up with us, it's understood that this is for life, guys. There's no quick fixes, there's no cutting corners. You're signing up with Body by G, you're committing to yourself to learn what it means to be able to be healthy, happy, reach your goals that you want, and get it for life, because nothing is worse than working your ass off to get results only to go back to where you were, or even worse off. Okay, we've all done that before, and that's dieting culture, guys, because if they actually taught you how to make a change and keep it, they wouldn't make any money, would they? Luckily enough, honestly, I couldn't give two craps about that side of things. I mean, of course, I want to keep the lights on, put food on the table, clothe my baby. But ultimately, we are here to make a change in people's lives. And that's what I love to do. So, yeah, I want to, when I work with a client, the thing that I want is to be their last nutrition coach. So it means building a really good foundation, right? From there, phase 2 is going into whatever progressive dieting phase that they want to go into, whether it's fat loss, performance, maintenance, gains, anything like that. Because you've created a really good foundation, the next phase always seems 10 times easier than ever, because you've done the work, and it'll be far more effective, far more sustainable, far more enjoyable, because you put in the work first, right? So phase 3 then is going back to kind of homeostasis, or a recovery phase. So you went through this dieting phase, maybe you lost a lot of weight, it's kind of tough on the body. Okay, we've got to make sure that it recovers, and you've got to make sure it's getting enough food every single day. You've got to make sure you're sleeping, you're thinking right, you're getting yourself back to the point where you can crush a lot of calories, start building some serious muscle, and feel great, feel like a superhero every day. That's what it's all about. And then obviously the last phase is lifestyle integration. Like, how do we take all of those principles that you just learned, fit it into your lifestyle? And by the way, the whole theme of today is fitting in foods that we enjoy. Okay, so that's where I help my clients. That's the Body by G method, because like I said before, I want to be the last damn coach that my clients ever have, right? I just want everyone to understand that you need to get the basics right, okay, before jumping into a dieting phase, before listening to these secrets. You wonder why you've had so many failed attempts, right? It's probably why. Okay, so let me tell you the secret. Secret number 1 seems fairly straightforward, but people don't do these things. So obviously the top 3 secrets to enjoying your foods that you love and still seeing results. You're going to have a nutrition plan that allows you to fit the foods in that you love, into your lifestyle, into your program. So, I mean, I'm sure anyone watching this replay, I'm sure if I asked you the question, have you done a diet in which restricted, no restricted food, no carbs, no sugar, don't eat after this time, only eat before this time, I could go on, right? I'm sure you're sitting there going, yes, yep, done those, and it's because restricting yourself from certain food groups, restricting yourself from food that you love, does not work. It's not sustainable. Okay, while it can get you results in the short term, you can't live that way. It's not it's impossible. We need to be able to create some sort of food freedom. So you need that nutrition program that allows you to have the foods that you love, because if you enjoy the foods that you're eating, guess what? You're far more likely to keep the results that you're looking for, creating that sustainable routine. But we also have to look into behavior as well. So when somebody tells you that you can't have something or you can't do something, guess what you want to do, right? It's human behavior. So when somebody says that you can't go out to eat, you can't eat these cookies, you can't do this, you can't do that, guess what's going to happen? It's going to feed into that restrict binge cycle that the dieting culture has put us in, and when we restrict, all of a sudden we binge on everything. Like, how many of you guys done like a sort of 30-day restrictive challenge or a diet or something like that, only to see it end and you're like, oh man, I can't wait to go and smash 5 Big Macs and I'm going to eat all the cookies. For those of you that know me, I am a cookie fiend, so I refer to cookies a lot. And again, that restrict binge cycle kicks in. So what you need to do is find a nutrition program that incorporates the foods in there, okay? Would you think that you'd have a better relationship with food if it did? Do you think you'd be able to show a little more moderation, enjoying things here and there? The nutrition plan needs to be built around you and not putting yourself to the point where you're miserable and all you can think about is eating a bunch of food that that's not going to make you feel good. Okay. So with that being said, within Body by G, we use what is called flexible dieting. Flexible dieting is essentially having some type of nutrition goal through tracking with your tracking app, or if you're not a tracker, sticking to some set of principles, right? So there's kind of 2 methods when it comes to tracking. And we break it down. Now, a lot of people are familiar with macro counting. This is where you have a protein goal, a fat goal, a carb goal. And within Body by G, we always like to throw in a few fruits and veggies into that target over time, of course, just to make sure you're getting enough volume of food, enough nutrient-dense food, and you're getting enough fiber. Now, this method isn't usually used by the general population. It's mostly kind of by athletes, body comp competitors, but it is effective for some people who do kind of enjoy more of a regime, so to speak, who like targets and numbers and things like that. Accountants maybe, but the other method that we use a lot, and a lot of my clients, Tracy can vouch for this, actually use the flexible calorie counting. So instead of having protein goal, fat goal, carb goal, we have a calorie range that we're working with, and we've got a protein goal. Okay, and we also have fruits and vegetable targets in time, but we can fit in the foods we love here. Okay, so you need to kind of understand that we aim for, say, 80% of the time, filling your calories with nutrient dense foods, single ingredient and foods where possible, just because you need to nourish your body. Okay, but if you want to fit in a cookie, then let's go. You just need to be within that calorie range, get your protein goal, nailed it, right? Versus the past diets that you've tried where you say you've had a meal plan, or you're not allowed to touch anything and you're like, oh, I just had one cookie, I failed, oh my God, the shame, the guilt, and you fall off the rails, you're not able to complete the program. Okay, how many times have we done that, pulled out at the start because we've done something that was considered wrong in our own minds? So when you're tracking your own food, flexible dieting allows you to be able to focus on those nutrient-dense foods, but also incorporate other foods that you really, really love in there. Okay, but there's other side benefits to tracking your food. And I don't just mean in an app, this is like taking photos of your food, writing it down, looking at the backs of packets to see the calories. There's so many different ways to track it, okay? But whenever I'm talking to somebody trying to learn how to create food freedom, eventually get to the point where they don't really have to think about food. They just kind of do it. It's just a habit. They're essentially learning to be the CEO of their own damn health. And what are CEOs, guys? Very educated, very intelligent people. They're also consistent with what they do, and they're very dedicated. Okay, they also have probably some type of structure of how things are going. Okay, so that's what we need to model ourselves on when it comes to our nutrition. So we need to establish kind of a new intuition, a new baseline to go off. But if you've never taken the time to educate yourself on like what food actually has in it and how does it relate to your fitness goals, how do I adjust this to maintain my health, how do I adjust it to reach my goals, you need to make sure that you take time and invest in learning about these things, because if you've never taken the time to educate yourself on that, how do you know what to compare it to, right? So if you've never tracked before, I would definitely encourage you to dip into it, even if it's just for a week, right? Just creating awareness and just seeing where you're at can help point out a few things that you can start with and change. Okay, this was actually the first step in our last challenge. You've got a lot of you guys will know people got amazing results just because they were like, oh, I thought I was eating really healthy, but obviously, while creating awareness, I'm not even close. Sometimes what you think isn't always reality. Okay, I had a lot of conversations with people, saying I thought I ate heaps of fruits and veg, and after creating awareness, they actually started tracking things. It was mind-blowing how they weren't. So it's a great way to educate yourself. It's a great way to create awareness. It's also a fantastic way to create that food freedom of not fearing your food, okay, and being able to fit foods into your lifestyle, right? So a good example of this, one of my clients here, she's an amazing lady, very, very busy lady. She came to me and she's traveling a lot. She wanted to go on a lot of dates, right? She's really searching for a partner here. Definitely wanted to lean up, perform better in the gym, in work as well, build some muscle, obviously decrease fat mass, which was the main thing. But she was struggling to do that around a hectic work schedule while lifting, while fitting in, being able to travel, being able to go on dates. So I was like, okay, great. We can definitely work with this, but we actually jumped right into flexible tracking right off the bat. Okay, you're going to have a calorie range, you're going to have a protein goal. I want you to get at least 800 grams of fruits and veg, but let the fats and carbs fall where they may. Okay, to have a little bit more adaptability. So she was able to go on holiday, she's able to eat out. I have multiple conversations with her on the daily basis saying, I ate a cookie today, it was great. By the way, I lost 2 pounds again. So working together in the first 6 weeks alone, just by flexible tracking, using this method, I mean, she lost over 15 pounds, 15 inches off her body, decreased, her body fat percentage, but also increased her muscle mass, which can be a bit of a task, when you're in a calorie deficit. So just proving that having a very busy life, going on holidays, going on dates, you can eat what you want. You just have to create a little bit of awareness and education on how to incorporate that into your program. Okay, so don't think, oh, it's not for me, I'm too busy, I'm too this, I'm too that. Like, if you're thinking that way, then that's probably not a priority for you right now. Okay, I'm just going to put it out there. Right, secret number 2, okay, is metabolic restoration, or kind of metabolic optimization. Now, I'm not sure how many of you are familiar with this terminology. Okay, we all kind of know the word metabolism and metabolic. So basically what it is the fact that the majority of people who have been told, obviously we all do time and time again, in order to be healthy, you need to, or to perform better in the gym, in order for you to look better naked, you must eat less, move more, eat less, move more, eat less, move more. Okay, technically that is correct. Okay, but there is a little bit more to it. Okay, now guys, this is for my chronic dieters. Okay, this isn't a thing for someone who, say, just did a diet for 8 weeks and starts going and blaming their plateau on their metabolism. Okay, you're probably just not in a calorie deficit, right? I am speaking to my chronic dieters here. Okay, like myself, if I spent years, and I mean years, dieting before I figured out the right way for myself of how to lose weight, and my body metabolically adapted to what I was doing, right? So what happens when you start eating less? Your body recognizes that. Okay, it's actually an evolutionary phenomenon. Our bodies are amazing. So back in the kind of caveman days, when somebody was in the middle of, say, a famine, they weren't eating, guess what your body's going to do, right? It's going to adapt. It's going to start burning less calories. It's going to start storing energy. It's going to start sending signals to your brain, to stop moving so much. It's sending signals to your body to say, slow down, right? I need to conserve energy here. Okay. And that is a common side effect of chronic undereating. Also is losing muscle mass, because muscle is a very heavy tissue, and guys, it burns a ton of calories. So there's a reason why kind of very lean muscular individuals can crush a lot of food. It's because muscles burn so much calories. Okay, but if you're chronically undereating, guess what your body's going to do? Going to get rid of it. So but it's also on the flip side that it's going to hold on to more fat, because fat is a fuel source. Okay, it's like basically going into hibernation. That's why when people chronically undereat, even when they're losing weight, they don't necessarily look lean. they almost kind of look skinny fat, okay? And it's because how you do it matters, right? Your body will adapt. It's called metabolic adaptation. Now, there are so many women that have come to me and they're literally eating like 1,200 calories. They're not seeing results. Okay. Now, I always cross check, of course, that they've correctly calculated what they're eating, that their daily energy expenditure is correct. Like we make all the cross checks first. And when that all checks out, I ask, how long have you been doing this for? The answer is like usually a few years, or, hey, I can't remember the last time I haven't been dieting, So that's when your metabolism pretty much slows down to match your intake. And I was guilty of this as well, spending you'd spend weeks in a deficit, and then have a couple of days where you'd have more calories. Well, a couple of days isn't enough for your body to recover from, this metabolic adaptation. So people call them refeed days and things like that. Well, you need more than a day to refeed your body. Okay, so these are the people I'm talking to, right? So as I said, don't use this as an excuse to not get results. But when your metabolism is slowed down like that, at that point you have basically lost the privilege to go into a fat loss phase. Honestly, the only way for you to start losing fat is for us to put you in a calorie deficit. But if you're starting at 1,200 calories, I need to bring you down to what, 800, 1,000? No way. And guess what? If you're eating that little, of course you're not going to be able to fit in the foods that you love. Do you know what I mean? Like it's impossible. So what you need to remember is, your BMR plus your TDEE, your daily energy expenditure. Now, some people actually work out to be that amount. Okay. I have some little ladies on here. Tracy, you don't get many calories. So, I mean, obviously we need to increase energy expenditure and things like that. But I know you don't get to eat all the calories, but for the general population, that is pretty low. Okay. And of course, if you are that low, you're not going to be able to have a slice of pizza without feeling guilty, or you're not going to be able to have a glass of wine or two, without feeling bad about it, and probably putting yourself in a calorie surplus because your metabolism is adapted. Okay, you've literally lost the privilege to go into a fat loss phase. And by the way, guys, sometimes that's not intentional either. People stress. I find a lot of people who are under stress sometimes tend to chronically undereat just by default as well. So kind of looking at that, like majority of people in this day and age, in all fairness, do have pretty poor metabolic health. Okay, and it is because of diet culture, right? We've never been properly educated on how to nourish our bodies, So the theme is to stop dieting all the time, learn how to crush maintenance. If you need to go through a reverse dieting phase, definitely. There's also a whole kind of different metabolic restoration protocol that we do go through with our clients to help them get them there. So they have this huge high metabolism. They fit in all the foods, that they love. They go through the fat loss phase then at a higher rate of calories. Okay, they nourish their bodies correctly, because if you don't do that, then it causes more harm, right? And the number one rule of any nutrition coach, any personal training coach, in my opinion, is thou shall not harm. Make sense? Really, really important. Okay, so that does apply to a good few people, right? So as I said, if you've just been dieting for a few weeks and you've plateaued, you're probably not metabolically adapted. You're just not in a calorie deficit. However, my chronic undereaters, we need to talk, right? Example of this lovely lady, I love it. She's so awesome. Now, she was conditioned to think that she should be eating anywhere from kind of 12 to 1,400 to maintain what she had and live in hope for a bit of fat loss, right? And had been that way for 2 years, right? Absolutely miserable. Now she's 5'8", 29, super active. We all know that she can smash some calories just with those stats alone, right? Her maintenance technically was 2,100 per day. Okay, so I encouraged her to go through the reverse diet. We're now eating 500 to 800 calories more every day. When she started, she lost 10 inches off her body, down 8 pounds, and we hadn't even entered a fat loss phase. Okay, we're still crushing maintenance right now, and she's already seeing amazing results simply because she decided to start eating the food instead of fearing the food. So you know, you need to make that decision to stop fighting your body and start working with it. Okay. But as I said, guys, do not construe this info. Yes, we do need to be in a calorie deficit to see fat loss, but that doesn't mean that you're ready to be in a calorie deficit. And she definitely wasn't. Okay. Now I get messages from her. I went out to eat, I had fun with my friends, I'm still seeing really great results. I PB'd my bench press. I ate the cookie and had ice cream. And guess what? I'm going on holiday this week without fear or worry about food. Okay, so this is really important to not fear food, which brings me on to secret number 3, right? Here it is. Ditch the food shame, right? Ditch it. So there's, you know, no such thing as good foods, clean foods, dirty foods, bad foods. Seriously, it's just food, guys. And understanding that, okay, yes, we should be sticking to the majority of the time to nutrient dense foods, single ingredient foods. But that doesn't mean if I eat a cookie, therefore I'm bad. You know, it doesn't mean if I eat a handful of Skittles for breakfast, which I did this morning, I should feel shame. Like when you attach these emotions to your food, this is where disordered eating patterns happen, right? That's when binge eating on the weekends happens, or binge drinking on the weekends happens. And that's when, you know, these kind of feelings of shame or guilt do crop up. So, you know, you may find yourself at times when you eat when you want to celebrate something, or you eat when you want a security blanket or a best friend. You know, these disordered patterns arise because we make an attachment. We tie our food to certain emotions that aren't conducive to our health mentally or physically. Obviously, yes, there are some emotional attachments to food, like once a week, yeah, I'm going to crush a chipper. Like it's going to be delicious. I'm not denying that, you know, but we have to realize that when we tie emotions to our food, that it can lead to that disordered eating, and it leads to an emotional response to our food instead of what it's supposed to be is our fuel and our nourishment. I mean, yeah, it does bring joy, like bringing together family and friends, you know, that's lovely. You know, sometimes we do get to enjoy the food we really love because life has to be lived as well, and those are nice bonding times as well that food does bring about. But it's when it goes on to, you know, more of an attachment. So I know, you know, if we have a better relationship with food, if it's, you know, if it's not good food or bad food, you know, it needs to be, I can eat this just in a little bit of moderation. You know, I'll fit it into my nutrition plan. You have an objective view, right? So it fits into your nutrition goals, then you're less likely to tie an emotion and then feel that shame or that guilt that comes with it, and then fall off the wagon completely and start eating everything in sight, you know, and the next day you wake up and you feel defeated, you feel sad. So that's why educating yourself, like we talked about in the beginning, is so important. Like sometimes we literally fear things that we just don't understand, right? Like I used to fear carbs. Like, guess what? Carbs are amazing. Like they're amazing for you. They do not make you fat. If anything, they help my clients get leaner, perform better in the gym, look better naked, you know, and even fearing lifting weights. Like I get a lot of that as well. You know, I don't want to be bulky, but like you're never going to be bulky lifting weights, you know, not this even in the slightest bit. Personally, I used to fear foods, good foods, bad foods, which, by the way, there is a name for that, guys. It's called orthorexia. It's actually a disordered eating pattern, and there's actually a legitimate name for it, and that's labeling food good or bad, and only sticking to good foods and feeling the shame if you eat quote unquote bad foods. Okay, so it's a really important one to be aware of. Okay, we just need to eat the foods and not label them. So tip number 3, and here's an example of one of these people. She's just like myself. She's crushed it. Okay, and another one of those who went through a reverse diet. She's eating more food. She's lost 6 inches. Actually gained 6 pounds, which, by the way, is proof that weight doesn't always determine your success. Added 25 kilos to her max personal best over all her weights. Eating more than ever. Enjoying life. No restriction. No good foods. No bad foods. Eating with freedom, sticking to a calorie range, smashing her protein. Job done. Ah! that brings me to the end. So those are obviously our secrets. Okay, you guys, a lot of you who I talk to are already incorporating these into your lifestyle without feeling guilt or shame, living the dream. I'm just going to stop my share here just so I take that off there. So Tracy, talk to me. Did that resonate? As I said, you're living this right now. Yep, she's frozen on me.
Yeah, I thought it's, on my end, and you said go ever, because that was a concern I had, is if I want to, we said when I get to my the area that I'm happy, the time I'm happy with, and then you said I increase calories, and it's because I was concerned how that would work, and then would I start, eating more of the we say rubbishy foods, but like that's kind of got to me where I am, like with Easter eggs and stuff. So yeah, that's explained it really well actually, and as you said about guilt with food. I had the Easter egg with the kids, and usually before I'd be like, fuck it, I've had one. And that would definitely.
Oh, I think we have a pretty bad reception there. No, I think I've lost T there. Or am I the one that's lost? Not to worry. Oh, I think we're back.
Oh, wait. Did you hear me?
Yeah, we got some of it, but yeah, like you're right. Like it's that we call it an all or nothing mentality, and again, that's a label, right? That no one's all or nothing. We just choose to be all or nothing, as well. If we have that, and you were a prime example over Easter, you had the Easter egg, fit into your calories, fit into the week, happy days, you still had a good time with the family, and that's what's really, really super important. So, but I think our connection is absolutely terrible, Tracy. Can't even have the chat. So I will wrap it up there. I think you're back again. Thank you, Tracy, for jumping on with me. I do appreciate it. You really are an inspiration to some of the ladies in the group, because you are actually going through this process. Like, you are with us for a couple of months now, so you're learning all of these methods, you're fitting them into your lifestyle, and you're absolutely smashing it and loving life. So if anyone wants any tips or tricks, Tracy's your girl. So we will be jumping on at the same time next week as well, and we will do another training for you guys. I do hope you enjoy them and appreciate them. So I will wrap this one up, and I will talk to you soon. Don't forget, we have our metabolic training next week as well. Enjoy.